Good evening. This is Toshio Okada's Complete Gundam course. This is session 20. Today I'll cover part 1 of episode 10, Garma's Fate. We'll move fast today. I fly to America tomorrow and I still haven't packed. At least I found my passport. Nikoniko Live on Sunday the 18th is a rebroadcast, but I still have to shoot new intro and outro segments. I'm recording those right after this, so I'm in full-on panic. Eek, laughs. In Garma's Fate, we suddenly meet Garma's girlfriend, Iselina Eschenbach. In the video, I wrestle with one question. Where exactly is the Eschenbach mansion? Official materials say around New York, but from the story's flow, if the Eschenbachs are an old family with real standing in America, Boston or Philadelphia would fit, or, judging by Iselina's position and her father's personality, somewhere in the South. Texas sounds right. So that's what I'm puzzling over. To show you what I mean, let's dive in. Complete Gundam Course, Session 20, Part 1 Commentary on Garma's Fate. Here we go. Last time, on my Gundam course, we covered Episode 9, Fly Gundam. I said Episode 9 is a dramatic turning point. Built-up motives and friction suddenly release, leading to the Fly Gundam surge. The situation flips. A new character, Matilda Agent, appears, and amid all that friction, we finally see a spark of, let's work together. A dramatic inflection, in other words. But story-wise, it isn't crucial, so in the movie or any digest, it often gets skipped. Episode 10, Garma's Fate, is a story turning point. There's little of that prior compression. Instead, the plot keeps driving forward. So today we'll walk the story in time order and examine the details closely. It opens on a party in Earth territory occupied by Zeon. The TV series never states which part of America this is, so I can't do my usual, it's here call. If you showed the Grand Canyon or Lake Mead, I could say, California-ish. Maybe the California-Nevada border, but we don't get that here. White Base's route is puzzling to begin with. They re-enter the atmosphere, picture North and South America on the globe. When you descend, you ride Earth's spin. You almost never come in against it. Do that, and your angle steepens, and your relative airspeed jumps. That's why rockets are launched mostly eastward. You can use roughly Mach 1 of rotation. Likewise, returning craft generally re-enter on eastward tracks. So I assume White Base came down west to east. But published reference books say otherwise. They chart White Base's path with Hawaii here, Japan there, and so on. The episode Re-Encounter Mother, where Amuro meets his mom, is said to be around Japan's Ogasawara Islands. Later, in the fight with Makuev, White Base crosses Asia to Odessa on Europe's eastern edge, then even detours to Belfast in the UK to rest. In short, White Base keeps moving east to west. You could say they re-entered west to east, then turned and traveled east to west, but even then, too many things don't add up. For one, in Garma's Fate, Iselina's father, Eschenbach, is described as the mayor of New York City. That likely means present-day New York City. But to complicate things, America also has a city called Newark, so it's ambiguous which one they meant. In any case, he's a former mayor from New York on the northeast coast. Yet the indoor dome stadium where White Base hides looks exactly like the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, down in the American South. The on-screen baseball park even shows that distinctive structure atop the Astrodome. Add Iselina's personality, and her father slapping a disobedient daughter, and the vibe screams, the South. So the stage of Garma's Fate feels like the south-central U.S. during the cross-country trek. That's why overt class differences and a Southern Belle flavor show up. Iselina Eschenbach is the strong-willed, yet devoted Southern daughter, her father, the domineering ex-mayor. Meanwhile, Garma, based in New York, travels to that southern city under Eschenbach's sway to host a party. At least that's one way to read it. But I can't say Tomino planned Gundam that meticulously. Some contradictions remain. Iselina is clearly drawn as a Southern girl, the town feels Southern, and with the Astrodome it's hard not to think Texas. Yet the setting books insist, this is New York. And right after that, the story suddenly heads to Japan, which makes me go, wait, what? So up front, these contradictions are what I'm wrestling with. Anyway, in this unspecified place, Zeon is throwing a party. The chandeliers overhead tell you the mansion has a very high ceiling. This is a big house. The portrait on the wall is Degwin Zabi, the Zeon sovereign, introduced here as the Big Bad. The mansion was likely seized, taken when Zeon invaded and occupied Earth. Maybe it was a public hall originally. So why hold a party like this? Conquerors, even after taking a land militarily, generally soften their stance toward civilians. Because the easiest thing for a ruler is locals who quietly comply. Zeon's military is powerful, but once they take New York, they want those forces free to conquer the next region, Maine, Florida, wherever. You rotate strong units through and keep winning. Leave them loafing in New York on leave, and they'll go soft. Ship them out fast. So you don't want locals turning terrorist or rebelling. Hence a charm offensive party. The pitch goes, relax. Only the top has changed from Earth Federation to Zeon. Your daily lives won't. At the end of World War II, some Japanese feared the demonic Yankees will drill holes in our hands and enslave us. All women will be raped. In reality, the Americans who came were often kind. Of course, that isn't universal. Berlin under Soviet occupation suffered terribly. Not every occupier behaves like the U.S. Some, like the Soviets, were brutal. But generally, kindness makes the occupation easier to administer. So they emphasize, only the boss changed, hang a giant portrait as a symbol, invite local elites, and throw a Zeon-funded party. Meanwhile, a few guests blatantly butter up Garma. Guest A. Will your father, Degwin, be visiting Earth? Garma. Guest A. If he does, please put in a good word. Heh. They rub their hands like that. Shameless flattery. After that scene, Garma goes to Char and vents. I can't stand those people. Garma. They bug me, Char, but if they learn about that Trojan horse and the mobile suits, they'll panic. Here Garma says, they get under my skin. In older anime, a villain would bask in such flattery from Earthlings, boasting, that's right, Zeon is strong, ha ha ha, or exploding, flatterers like you, get out, acting on impulse. Garma instead smiles at the toadies, and only later mutters to Char, I hate those guys. That contradiction is the point. Why the contradiction? Because Zeon wants not just to occupy Earth militarily, but to rule it. The military occupation is largely done. Next you must rebuild the destroyed cities so you can actually manage Earth. Keep smashing. And you only breed more gorillas. Or just impoverish everyone. So Zeon needs Earth's economy and production up and running again. Fast. And they want North America, already under their control, to become a model student. Like post-occupation Japan getting rich, so Earth aims to catch up instead of rebel. Better to make people think, we want to catch up to Zeon, maybe move to space, than to coerce by force alone. Thus Garma can't shoo away those fawning elites. That's exactly what his brother Dozle Zabi recognizes as Garma's strength. Dozle himself can't do that. And the eldest brother, Gihren, is even colder. He'll later say, now that the population has thankfully fallen, we'll keep it down and preserve only the superior race, for humanity's survival, and to keep the Earth sphere unspoiled. Gihren has no interest in managing Earth. He'd rather shrink it to a governable size. If most Earthlings die, so be it. Put bluntly, that's a capable manager, not a true king. So what about Dozle? He has the makings of a soldier. The win-at-any-cost soldier, but still not king material. What is a king, then? Someone who can humor flatterers as needed, and also marry a local Earthwoman. The smartest management is to wed into a great Earth family. Then you can claim Zeon and Earth aren't enemies, but one new family. Very few people can do that naturally. The British, for instance, aren't good at it. In colonies, the French often married local women. The British promoted locals, even to branch managers, but wouldn't marry them or admit them to the aristocracy. You could join the company system, yes, but never the blood-based noble circle. By contrast, French nobles would marry locals and have children, an openness reflecting a deeper difference in aristocratic thinking. Within Zeon, Gihren would never consider marrying an Earthwoman. He'd sooner talk population reduction. Had Garma lived, I think he'd have taken the French approach. Treat Earth people not as opponents but as those under his care. His marriage ideas hint at it. Gihren, meanwhile, wants to cut the excess population. Much later, their father, Degwin Zabi, the true boss of Zeon, opposes Gihren's view. Why? Much later we learn this. Degwin Zabi seized the throne by killing Zeon Zum Daikun, Char's father. Ambition and grudges surely played a part, but even killers claim a just cause. Namely, we can lead Zeon better. Leave it to him and Zeon is doomed. Humanity pushed its excess population into space. Earth Federation built space colonies and dumped the surplus there. So Zeon's struggle began with, fine, then we'll found an independent nation in those colonies. If you then adopt Gihren's line, the population is dropped. We'll keep it low under our control. You're doing the same as the Earth Federation. Degwin hits a dilemma. Why did I kill Zeon Zum Daikun, my respected superior and comrade in the revolution, if we're becoming the same? So he can't accept Gihren's proposal, knowing that this is his father's complex and trauma. Gihren mocks, belittles, and ultimately kills him. That's the ideological split running through the Zabi family in Mobile Suit Gundam. You see it in the small choices around Garma. The Degwin Dozle Garma line and the Iselina Gihren line differ at a fundamental level. When Garma dies here, Dozle later grieves deeply. He says that one might have become the general who could even command me. Fans often chalk that up to Dozle was a doting big brother who overrated Garma. Even the origin depicts it that way. But I think that's underrating Garma to make Char the hero, an easy story choice. I jokingly call that Gundam for dummies. Read Gundam that way and you drift that direction. No, it's that Garma had a king's key trait, being loved and blessed by all. So he could even contemplate something as grand as marrying into an elite Earth family. That's why Dozle likely thought he had the makings of a king. Soldier, commander, politician, maybe not. But as a king, his capacity exceeded mine. Thinking that way makes Gundam a richer work. Alright, that's the end of the first half. Thanks for indulging Okada's wild theories. This course is also a daydreaming class. Anime gets more fun if you think and speculate instead of just watching passively. Laughs. Earlier I said, when White Base goes to see Amuro's mother, they anchor around Ogasawara. In Re-Encounter Mother, White Base lands in the Ogasawara Islands. Since Amuro's hometown is Totori, he jets there in the core fighter. Back to Zeon's Earth management strategy. As I said, Gihren basically thinks we can wipe out Earthlings anyway, so he doesn't care. He'd keep Earth's nature as a resort for themselves. Earthlings can vanish. Dozle, a soldier to the core, thinks only about how to win, not. Sister Iselina views Earth in business terms. As labor to mine resources, Earthlings are valuable. Garma himself wonders, isn't there a way to coexist peacefully? Hence marriage as assimilation policy. This idea, ruling families marry locals to assimilate, shows up explicitly in later works like Gundam F91. Here in Mobile Suit Gundam it's only hinted at. That's it for the free segment. The rest is for paying viewers. Please switch over now.